Start recording, and I will call this meeting of the Undergraduate Senate Finance Committee to order at 6:58 p.m. Copy. Now I'll call the roll. Senator Stanton. Here. All right, I am here. Senator Guskowitz.
Here.
Here. Senator Wilson is not here. Senator or Vice Chair Alexander is here. Vice Chair Alexander, can I get a verbal confirmation? Senator Mana is not here. Senator Vesputa is not here. Senator Baruch.
Present.
All right. Seeing as how Senator or Vice Chair Alexander is here in the call, okay, we do have quorum here. And then, is there anyone from the public who wishes to comment? Seeing none, we will move not into the splitting of subcommittees since we do not have 6 people, but this time we will begin to hear food insecurity requests, starting with culinary medicine at UNC. Okay, good evening, and to those from ASO, we'll get to you right after, since we're working one, both subcommittees at the same time. So to culinary medicine, I'll just let you know that we're working with a budget of, where is it? $20,000. This means we'll have to fund at a rate of about 60%. So keep that in mind as we go forward, but we'll give you the next minute or two to present what your organization is about and why you need food insecurity funds.
Good evening. My name is Josue Fernandez, and I'm the treasurer for culinary medicine. And our club emphasizes the importance of healthy eating habits on the maintenance, restoration of wellness, and disease prevention, not only to our student body, but also the surrounding communities of the Triangle area. We aim to bring more of an emphasis towards the targeted role of healthy eating on the prevention of chronic and nutrition-related illnesses through nutrition education workshops, hand-on cooking classes, and advocating for and partnering with initiatives that address food insecurity. So what that looks like in practice would be our Carborough Market Fair events, where we cook for people at that and raise awareness about the SNAP and EBT benefits that one might acquire. We have SECU house workshops where we provide meals for families whose members are patients at the UNC hospitals, and then cooking workshops in which we inform our members how to make healthy meals that they can then spread with those within their immediate community. The funds that we would be receiving would go a long way towards just providing the groceries that we need to make all of these meals. And that would be about the full extent of what we would need those funds to be, which comes out to a rough total of about $950. Oh, I believe you're muted.
Sorry, I think you're muted.
All right, so it says here that your impact is 230 individuals. And can I just get confirmation that for these events, how many people will be in attendance?
So we broke it up into the 4 segments. So for the Carborough workshop, we estimate about 60 people give or take about 5 to 10. For the SEC workshop, we estimate about 70 people, give or take about 5 to 15. And then for the GBMs and members only workshops, those would be about 25 and 8 respectively. So for a grand total of 230 plus or minus about 30.
All right, cool. And then will these meals be free and open for anyone who wishes to have them?
Yes, that is the aim for which we need the funding for to make that free for anybody in attendance.
All right, cool. Then seeing as how that all checks out, I think it's appropriate that I'm going to move that we fund culinary medicine in the category of food at $580. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right. And then with that, culinary medicine has been appropriated $580. That's all we have for you tonight. So thank you for coming.
I had a quick question. Thank you very much. We also submitted one for the subsequent budgetary, and we believe our slot might be the 950, in which there's a blank for subcommittee one. Because we were told to apply not only for the food insecurity, but also that, and that might be a typing error on my part, not inserting our club name for that segment. Would you want us to come back at 950, or is this sufficient this meeting now?
Subsequent 9. It don't believe it says here that you have a hearing at 9:50.
When I submitted the funding request, I believe I had sent you an email, but it might have gotten lost in the traffic. It was dated the first of this month. That I had submitted the form, but I had neglected to add the culinary medicine at UNC in the club name section. So we weren't sure if that was what that might have been.
Um, and now this was a typo. Do you need non-food related subsequent funds?
We weren't sure. We were told to apply for both because we qualify for the food insecurity.
Okay.
So
Now, if are the only foods that you need for or funds you need for food?
yes.
Okay, then yeah, you're good to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're all good here.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. And now for the Arab Student Organization. Same as the last group, we're working with a budget of $20,000, which means we'll have to fund at a rate of 60%. So keep that in mind as we go forward, but I'll give you the next minute or two to introduce yourself and what you need the food and security funds for.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Malek, and I serve as president of Arab Student Organization. The goal of Arab Student Organization is to serve all students on campus who are interested in Arab culture or who are Arab themselves. We do educational events and also social events to help bolster a community here on campus. What we specifically want to do with this money is to provide a feast for our Coptic members. So there are a lot of Christian Arabs here at UNC, and many of them engage in fasting 45 days before Christmas, where they have to follow vegan or vegetarian diets based on their beliefs. Something that many constituents have come to us is that they're wanting traditional Egyptian dishes that are vegetarian in order to better celebrate this occasion for them. However, there are no traditional Egyptian restaurants around the Chapel Hill area, and unfortunately, we don't have the culinary skills to do it ourselves. So this money would go towards providing one meal for them during that 45-day period before Christmas. So we plan to have it at the end of November, where they can join in community. And it wouldn't only be for Coptics, but it would be open to any Arabs and anyone affiliated or non-affiliated with our club who are interested in learning more about Coptic holidays and Egyptian cuisine.
Okay. And then how many people would attend or receive meals from this Coptic fasting?
Yeah, so we estimate 75, but it could be up to 100.
All right, so we do have a requirement that any events held serving food with food insecurity funds need to serve at least 100 people.
Okay. For past events where we've hosted Ramadan for our constituents, we've had over 150 people attend those. So we could easily get 100 people to attend this and more so.
Okay. All right, let's see. Your application also states that your group is unwilling to identify the student government as its sponsor. Is this accurate?
We're fine with identifying the student government as its sponsor.
Okay, cool. As long as you can confirm that here. And finally, will these meals be freely available to all students who want it?
Yes, and they'll be distributed on campus.
All right, awesome. Then, so that all seems to check out. Going to move that we fund the Arab Student Organization in the category of food at $1,175.
Second.
Perfect. All right. So with that, the Arab Student Organization has been appropriated $1,175 in the food insecurity cycle. The appropriations will be passed at our next full Senate meeting on the 24th. That's all that we have for you tonight, though. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much. Bye. Hi.
Hello. All right, with the Undergraduate Consulting Club.
Yes.
Okay. So we're working within the confines of a $20,000 budget. This means we'll have to fund organizations at a rate of about 60%. So keep that in mind as we go forward. But with that, I will give you the next minute or two to introduce your organization and what you'll need food funding for.
Yeah, so we're the Undergraduate Consulting Clubs. Basically, we host different events for undergraduate students to help them learn what consulting is and to help with their networking. So our two biggest events, I wrote about them in the application, but one of them is the Consulting Boot Camp, where we have a bunch of firms come to the school and we host an all-day event where kids go through different informational sessions and recruiting events. So you get to talk and meet with these firms one-on-one. Specifically regarding meals, we provided meals that day for 200 students. It was not a part of a fee or anything. We wanted to make sure that this event was super accessible to people. So we had providing meals for over 200 people. And then another event that we do is our firm trek, where we actually take a group of 35 students roughly to visit the firms in person. And we try to reduce as many costs as possible to make it accessible, because it can be otherwise a lot of these students would not have the opportunity to go see these firms in person. So we try to take as much of the cost off of them when it comes to lodging, but meals is a part of that as well. Andy, is there anything you want to add to that?
Not really. I think you covered it.
All right. So this is the food insecurity cycle. So during this, we only fund food. I do see that you've also submitted an application in the
Yes, I think I did two separate ones.
subsequent application. Yes. So this 4,700, is this the application just for food or for
Yes, it should just be for food. I think that was one, yeah.
and now the events that you will be serving food for, how many individuals will be attending?
So at least 200 students. We will have, Andy, do you know the number of how many professionals come to the event as well?
Around 40 to 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 250 total for meals.
All right. And then will students have to pay for any of these meals?
No, they paid to attend. There was a small fee to attend the event, but that was more going towards, I think it was towards like renting the rooms, but the a fee I don't think went towards any of the meals, Andy. I'm pretty sure we tried to cover that on our end to make sure that
Yeah.
the fee is not too expensive.
We do have a requirement that any food purchased or food funded by the undergraduate senate needs to be freely available to any student who wants it. So a fee would not, if a fee is incorporated, we would not be able to fund this.
Okay, even if the fee didn't go towards the food, it was.
Yeah, the food needs to
Okay.
be freely available in order to combat food insecurity on campus.
Okay. That's good to know. Sorry, I guess we were a little confused on that. We did not realize that that was a rule for the food hearing.
Yes. Now, okay, do you plan on eliminating this fee or not receiving food insecurity funds? Which,
Andy, do you have a preference? I guess.
Yeah, I think not receiving is what would go down. Yeah.
all right. Then in that case, I'm going to move that we fund the category of food for the undergraduate consulting club at $0.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Then yes, with that, you've been appropriated 0, but I'll see you back on Tuesday at 8:20 p.m. for your subsequent hearing.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for coming. Okay, now that we have 6 senators, I'm going to split us off into subcommittees and have us run this like usual. All right, there we go. Join those. All right, now, Marianne, which organization are you with?
Okay. Hi, I'm with Coptic Student Organization.
All right, awesome. I will send you over to your subcommittee now.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening. Are you with the Marion Cheek Jackson Center Student Leadership Group?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Then Before we get started, I do want to state that we're working with a budget of $20,000, which means we will have to fund organizations at a rate of about 60 to 65%. So keep this in mind as we go forward. But with that, I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and talk about what you need food insecurity funds for.
Okay, thank you. So yes, my name is Sarah. I'm the treasurer for the Marianne Cheek Jackson Center Student Leadership Group. A little bit about our mission is that we are a student leadership group that helps to promote the history and neighborhood of the historically Black neighborhoods of Northside, Pine Knolls, and Tin Top, which have about a population of 1,170 students living in them. So it's our interest to facilitate and benefit the integration of students in the existing community. And part of our mission is food justice. And so that comes into play to tonight's hearing. We are asking for funding to help with our weekly food bank, which helps feed 65 families. This includes students, although I can't disclose like necessarily the amount due to privacy reasons, but we help 65 families, so about like 100 to 120 people, like roughly, to be fed. And this includes like non-perishables and ready to make meals that we're needing, as well as produce. And it's student run, the entire food bank, and our drivers who deliver the food are also students. So this is the way that we're engaging the Carolina community in this service, but it's also indirectly helping Carolina students who are food insecure who choose to opt into this service. So that's what our funding is basically going to be helping towards, especially towards ready to make meals, which are our biggest request.
All right, good. So you did say that you'd be feeding more than 100 individuals. Will there be any financial barrier to families receiving these funds?
No.
All right. Then, in that case, going to move that we fund the category of food for the Marianne Cheek Jackson Center Student Leadership Group at $2,800.
Second.
All right, so the Marianne Cheek Jackson Center Student Leadership Group has received $2,800 from the Undergraduate Senate in the food insecurity cycle. Your funds will be formally appropriated at our next full Senate meeting on the 24th, after which point you'll be able to apply for reimbursement. But that's all that we have for you tonight, so thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Well, the consulting club turning down the 4,700 really took a big chunk out of the requests, so that 60% will probably turn into like 70, 80 comfortably, which is nice.
Really needed that event fee, huh?
I guess so. All right. Seeing as how 7 minutes have passed since UNC Flourishes assigned hearing time, and that they have not shown up, I'm going to move that we fund category of food at $0.
Second.
Cool. All right. Hello there with the Nutrition Coalition.
Good evening.
All right. Before we get started, do want to make clear that we're working within a $20,000 budget. This means that we'll have to fund organizations at a rate of about 65%. So keep that in mind as we go forward, but I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and what you need funds for.
Okay, hi, I'm Ananya. I'm the treasurer for Nutrition Coalition. We manage CJ's Cupboard, which is a food pantry located at the Gilling School of Global Public Health. We work closely with the nutrition department, and our aim is to ensure that students have access to nutritious food, which is essential for their overall success at the university. So our budget request breakdown, we are asking for $6,400 overall, and we broke this down into 4 categories. Essentially, the first is grocery budget, which is $5,000. We aim to utilize $500 bi-weekly, and this kind of makes sure we get all our staples like beans, pasta, rice, oatmeal, and cereal. And yeah, this is kind of like to cater to diverse diet. And the second is good bowls, which is like nutritious frozen bowls, which we ask $800 for. It's priced around $7.99 per bowl, and they also like we have a fridge in the pantry, so it's not going to go bad or expire anytime soon. So it gives like an overall balanced meal option for people that seek that. Our third category is cleaning and renovations. We ask $100 since it is located on like on the second floor of the School of Public Health, just for like cleaning and minor reservations and repairs and to create like a hygienic space for everyone. And the fourth category is miscellaneous items. We ask $500. It's just like for basic hygiene and just overall distribution of goods and just a financial safety net for our food pantry and just flexibility and efficiency overall. So those are our 4 categories. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So in the food insecurity cycle, we do only fund food directly. So the cleaning and renovations and then miscellaneous, we will not be able to provide funds for, just as a disclaimer, but the other 1 and 2, the bulk of it, will be good. How many individuals do you plan to serve meals to with this with this funding?
Definitely more than 100 students, just because it is open and it is free for everyone, not just within the School of Public Health, but it is, even though we advertise it solely like that, anyone can like utilize it. It's open 24 hours. Any student with a 1 card can enter. So it's open to everyone. So we predict it's more than 100 students.
All right, and there will be no financial barrier to students accessing this food?
No.
All right. Then in that case, I'm going to move that we fund the category of food at $4,500. All right, so the Nutrition Coalition has received $4,500 in the Food Insecurity Cycle from the Undergraduate Senate. Your appropriation will be finalized on the 24th when the full Senate meets next and we get this bill passed. But that's all that we have for you tonight. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Probably could have put food insecurity scheduling on a 5-minute block. Note that for later. All right, seeing as how it's been 5 minutes since the Marching Tar Heels volunteers assigned hearing time and that they have not passed the treasurer's test with an 80 or above, going to move that we fund the category of food for them at $0.
Second.
Evening, Cormac.
Evening, Andrew.
All right, before we get started, we're in the subsequent side now. We're working with a budget of about 60,000, which means we'll have to fund organizations at a rate of about 90%. So keep that in mind as we go forward. But I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce the Board of Elections and what you need funds for.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, Senators. The UNC Board of Elections is seeking the full $1,500 for fall general election. We're seeking about $1,440 for general programming. This includes $1,000 for candidate reimbursements and about $440 to put events on, such as the candidate forum. Such an event was hosted last year by the Board of Elections and received a turnout that we hope to improve this election. Furthermore, we're seeking to spend about $60 for a printed ad in the Daily Tar Heel, reminding students how and when to vote for their eligible elections. It is vital that the Board of Elections receive funding for administrating and overseeing elections. Turnout for elections of all type in the past have been sparse, and we seek to improve those numbers with the assistance of the Undergraduate Senate. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. Unwilling to identify the student government as its sponsor. I don't see that as an issue since you are a part of student government. You do have a certified treasurer. All right. Where do you want our funds to be prioritized?
I think we're mainly looking at just that 440 for the and the 60 for putting on events for sponsors. The $1,000 for candidate reimbursements. I don't think it's going to be a huge deal because we've only had in the past very few reimbursement requests from the Board of Elections that the Board of Elections has approved. So it's less so there, but more just making sure that we have the funds to put on programming and put on have the materials to remind students when and how to vote.
All right, then in that case, I'm going to move that in the category of printing and publicity, we fund at $60.
Second.
And in the category of programming, we fund at $1,300.
Second.
All right, so with that, the Board of Elections has received $1,360. This funding will be finalized on the 24th when the full Senate meets next and we can pass these appropriations. That's all that we have for you tonight, though, so thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too. Good evening with Grow Your World at Carolina.
Hi, yeah, that's the club that I'm here for.
All right, cool. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that we're working with a budget of $60,000. This means we'll be funding organizations at a rate of about 90%. So keep that in mind as we go forward, but I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and what exactly you need funds for.
Okay, so Grow Your World at Carolina is affiliated with the local nonprofit called Grow Your World, which has a range of different programs that are focused on building relationships with the local community and underserved youth. So some of their programs focus more on education-based or like academics, which is, well, we focus on tutoring, and then some of them are more arts-based, so a little more like creative in that realm. But all of them are about like equity and like basically Grow Your World at Carolina, the club is supposed to facilitate their programming by inviting speakers and working with the tutors or volunteers who are already part of Grow Your World, to like enhance our ability to help these students. So we learn about like equitable pedagogy and what like diversity in education like means for the communities around us. And the main things that we need funding for are in-person events, because a lot of the programming in the past has been over Zoom. So that was one of the like main things that the nonprofit's president and founder requested of us to focus on. So there's the need for transportation to also a in-person like longer term programming that's going to be happening at the location that the nonprofit has in Carborough. So should I just repeat what's like in the like application? Is that
You can give a general outline of it.
okay? So the event that'll be this semester, we need money for renting a facility, which we've already reserved, the outdoor education center. And then we're also doing or we hope to bring the kids to the Moorhead Planetarium for a show. So there's a number of tickets that we would like to get. So there's about 20 to 25 UNC students. Oh, also it's not just involved with like the club members, but we're kind of affiliated with like the School of Education through our advisor, because a lot of the service learning students found the nonprofit like through the class, but then have also joined the club separately. So we're like made up with students from the class, but also people who are volunteers and not in the class. So the total is like kind of larger than the number of students, because the service learning students who aren't maybe in the club are also affected by our programming. So there's maybe like 40 to 50 tickets, each of them between $5 and $16. And then for the winter activities, there's a camp that we're hoping to hold, because the tutors who, or the volunteers who tutor tend, or from college, like tend not to be involved once our winter break starts. But once our winter break starts, which is earlier than the elementary through high school students' winter break, there's like a deficiency in the number of students who are around. So that's why we're hoping, or the founder of the nonprofit is hoping that we can do more activities in Carborough on their location. But a lot of our students don't have transportation or can't provide that for themselves. So we would also like funding for that. In my request, I put the like number of weeks times the number of days per week times the daily rate that Enterprise, Rent-A-Car, National Car Rental, and Zipcar have, using like the UNC campus affiliated discounts. So there's like, it's an $84 day rate. That's the lowest one, Enterprise. And then it'll be at least 2 days per week. And it'll be 5 to 7 weeks, depending on, well, how much funding we get. And then there are other like supplies and things for programming that we like that go past the $1,500 limit, but it like obviously, because what we can do depends on how much we get. They're like all also vital or ideas that, or ideas that the founder considered vital for like us to do to help them out. Some of those would be, well, we don't need branded apparel, but the founder of the nonprofit would really like that. And considering that there are a lot of students and, well, I know that the students who like are not at UNC don't count to like the total of students that are affected, but there are like a lot of other students, but they're just like high school and younger. So that would be like a sort of large chunk of what we hope we could do. There's also a book club that's like kind of like it's part of what we're doing, and we're reading the Parable of the Sower, but some people do not have access to it because, well, the library only has a limited number of copies. So ebooks are about $11.99. That's the cheapest one. For Octavia Butler's Parable of the Sower. And maybe like 20 to 25 copies of that. And then also we were hoping for printing funding, because considering we are going to be holding at least one, but almost certainly more than one outdoor in-person events, we were planning on making like a banner and using like the Staples costs. It would be $50 for a 2x4. And for posters, like the lowest, like cheapest type of poster, like for the small size, which is 12 by 18, and like no lamination or like nothing special, you can do like 25 for about 260. So we were also hoping for that. And then I guess the last and like, well, actually one of the like more important things was honorariums for speakers. So we were talking to a professor at Georgetown, Sabrina Wesley Nero, and one at the University of South Carolina, Gloria Swindler Boutte, I think. So we were hoping to set aside at least $250 for each of them, because they're both really well known in like the sort of like area of education that we're interested in. Like they're the exact like definition of like experts on that big buzzword equitable pedagogy that we're kind of hoping to, get our members to learn more about. But yeah, that is
All right. Now,
everything.
Do want to say that speaker honoraria and printing were not submitted on the application. It's just building, venue rental, programming, and travel.
Yeah, so I put it under like, well, see, that was because the other totals totaled to 1,500, which is the limit. So then I put it separately that there are a lot of other supplies that
All right. So
we could use, but the total would be too much.
Okay, yeah. So we will have to fit everything within the 90% of the 1,500. So within the application, where do you want to see your funds prioritized?
You mean of everything I just listed?
Of the things that are on this application, so the building, venue rental, programming, and travel.
Is it like necessary that I prioritize them because they're kind of equal? Like I put those as like the first things on like, like the list or like the drop down or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I put those three categories as like the things that constitute our total of 1,500, and then I put everything else separately because those were like the priority.
All right. Then in that case, I'm going to move that we fund the category of building venue rental at $80.
Second.
The category of programming at $450.
Second.
And the category of travel at $820.
Second.
So with that, Grow Your World at Carolina has received $1350 from the Undergraduate Senate in the subsequent cycle. Your appropriation will be finalized when the full Senate passes your budget bill on the 24th. But that's all that we have for you. So thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Good evening. You're with Voices of Praise Gospel Choir, correct?
Yes, we are.
All right, perfect. Okay, before we begin, I do want to let you know that we're working with a $60,000 budget, which means we'll have to fund organizations at a rate of about 90%. But with that, I'll give you the next 5 minutes to introduce your organization and describe what you need funds for.
Yes, so we are Voices of Praise Gospel Choir. We are the only choir on campus, and we mainly serve a multicultural population, but we focus on traditional Black Christian music. And the thing that we are mostly focusing on or for funding this semester is our fall concert that we have every year for the last 30 years. But we are focusing on that, specifically the price for the venue and musicians. I think we priced the venue to be $1,000 for the day, and then the musicians were 1,600 for the event, which we know the max is 1,500, but any money that we receive will go towards the venue and funding the musicians as well. But yeah, so this event that we are trying to have serves as a way to expose people on campus to our very cool culture that we have as Black Christians, and just to continue the tradition that we've established on campus for the last few decades. Yeah.
All right. Now, okay. Everything seems to check out. Certified treasurer, yes, you do. Okay. Of the two categories being building venue rental and labor fees, which of these would you like to prioritize funds for?
I think the most expensive is the musician labor fees. So we would like to prioritize that.
All right. Then in that case, I'm going to move that we fund the category of labor fees at $750.
Second.
And the category of building venue rental at $650.
Second.
All right. So with that, Voices of Praise Gospel Choir has received $1,400 from the Undergraduate Senate in the subsequent cycle. Your appropriation will be finalized at the end of this month on the 24th, when the full Senate passes your organization's budget bill. That's all that we have for you tonight, though. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Mhm.
See, the Society of Women Engineers is next. I've seemed to recall that they had some issues with the first cycle applying for funding.
That the biggest issue was them passing the treasurer's test, which they definitely have passed that now. So
that's good.
As long as they show up, they are good to go.
All right. Cool. Yeah. Okay, cool. fate has not been smiling on the Society of Women Engineers, I feel. They've not been super lucky. I sort of want to give them another minute. I feel bad, but it's-
Um, I'm gonna wait this one out until 8:40. And if they show up later and we can fit them in, maybe, but yeah.
Hi, I'm so sorry. I just got out of a meeting and I did not check the time.
All right.
Thank you so much for still being here.
Of course. Before we begin, I do want to say that we're working with a budget of $60,000, which means we'll be funding organizations at a rate of about 90%. So
Understood.
keep that in mind, but I will give you the next couple minutes to introduce your organization again and what you'll need funds for now.
Okay. So the Society of Women Engineers is planning on bringing 3 students to the Society of Women Engineers National Conference in Los Angeles, California. This is a big thing because we've been trying to get people to go for the past several years since we started. And this is the first time we've actually been able to take people who were not on the exec team. And so I really want to try and create a pipeline for students to continue going so that we can get the same benefits of going to an engineering conference that are not necessarily supported by UNC since the engineering department is still in development. And right now the career fairs are mostly geared towards careers not in engineering, which is great. And I think that's a wonderful opportunity, but it's going to fulfill a deficit in the UNC Career Center that cannot be offered in the foreseeable future. So by bringing these students, by funding for them to go, we're giving them the opportunity to create a pipeline for continual growth of the program and opening up opportunities for future students to attend. Do you need any more information? I can keep talking.
Since we will need to cut this down to fit that 90% by just a little bit.
Yeah.
Where do you want us to prioritize funds? Or I guess since it's only $100 that we need to cut, where you want to see or where you'd be fine seeing that money?
Yeah. So I think because the registration costs can be somewhat refunded depending on, there are some volunteer opportunities where if you volunteer to work at the conference, you can get a certain percentage back. I think that's probably the most reasonable to cut down from. Does that give us sufficient amount to still get the rest of our funding?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So in that case, I'm going to move that we fund dues and fees at $35.
Okay.
Lodging at $280.
Second.
And travel at $1,023.12.
Second.
Okay.
All right. So with that, the Society of Women Engineers has received $1,338.12 from the Undergraduate Senate in the subsequent cycle. Your appropriation will be finalized on the 24th when your budget bill is heard by the full Senate. That's all that we have for you tonight, though. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to seeing you in the spring. Nice to see you again, Gabe. Bye.
Got it through.
Right.
Good
Hi.
evening. You're with the Kamikaze dance team?
Yes.
All right. Before we get started, I do want to let you know that we're working with a budget of $60,000, which means we'll have to fund organizations at a rate of about 90%. So keep that in mind that we'll have to cut a teeny bit. But I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and discuss what you need funds for.
Great. So Kamikaze is one of the first co-ed dance team on UNC's campus. So we have a very high reputation of having a diverse team of dancers and sorry, there's noise in the background. A diverse team of dancers and a varied style of performance. We like to change what we do every year to include more students who have a range of background in dance. So this semester we are asking for about, I believe, $1,300. Part of that goes towards marketing. Every year we create a concept video that goes for like marketing purposes. We post it on all of our social media and we show it at our end of year showcase. We also are requesting money for the workshops that we're doing every semester. So we need to pay the choreographers that we hire to come in, and also merch that we do for our team members and also anyone in like the public that wants to buy merch. And we are traveling to App State, I believe, and possibly George Washington University later this semester. So we are going to be paying for those trips.
Is that all?
Yes, sorry.
Okay. Then, all right. Everything else seems to check out. So since we will need to cut a little bit, where do you want your funding to be prioritized?
I think the priority should be for our labor fees. I think we requested around 400 for that, because that's going to go towards paying like the people that we hired. So it's not going towards Kamikaze itself. It'll be for the services that we are hiring people for. After that, I believe we requested some money for clothing, because we do have all of our team members wear the same thing on stage and we have to order the clothes and we make the like merch ourselves. We like embroider stuff ourselves. So we have to pay for the clothes and the supplies to do that. I think those are the most important.
All right. Then in that case, I'm going to move that we fund the category of clothing at $300.
Second.
The category of labor fees at $400.
Second.
The category of supplies at $200.
Second.
And the category of travel at $250.
Second.
All right, so with that, Kamikaze Dance Team has been appropriated $1,150 from the Undergraduate Senate. Your appropriation will be finalized on the 24th when the full Senate convenes next, so we can hear your budget bill. That is all we have for you tonight, though, so thank you very much for coming.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, seeing as how 7 minutes have passed since the Institute of Politics assigned hearing time and the fact that they have not passed the treasurer's test, I'm going to move that we fund all categories at the rate of 0. I believe that makes up the difference in what's budgeted and what is requested, so we can fund everything at 0 for, or everything at 100 for tonight, the exact opposite. Special Olympics up next. Good evening. You're with the Special Olympics, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. I will give you now the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and what you are requesting funds for.
Sure. So I'm with Special Olympics. We work with people with disabilities to help them kind of thrive as an athlete. We have our own athlete groups for them to play bowling. We do flag football. And we're requesting $1,500 to kind of continue these events. We're seeing a 100% increase in the athletes we have attending. So instead of just 15 every week at bowling with our 2 lanes, we have 30. So we would use these extra funds to expand our lanes and make it kind of more engaging for all of our athletes. We're also hoping to host a sports banquet this year to honor these athletes. So we would need the funding to rent the Great Hall, catering, small awards for athletes, just to make them feel like there's an actual conclusion to the end of the sports term and make them feel like they've done a great job all throughout. And then we're also hoping to host fall ball. We need to have funding to rent an actual field and space for the athletes to play. And then our typical events that we do, we're trying to include the athletes in more of our meetings. All of the funds that we're requesting go directly towards the athletes. So none of this would benefit any club members, except in that we're hosting more events for the athletes and making it more hands-on for them. So that's why we're requesting funds.
All right. Well, seeing as how everything checks out, and the fact that that requests have come in under budget for this cycle, I think it's appropriate that we can fund building venue rental at $400.
Second.
Clothing $500.
Second.
And supplies at $600.
Second.
All right, so with that, Special Olympics UNC Chapel Hill has been appropriated $1,500 in the subsequent cycle. Your appropriation will be finalized at on the 24th when the full Senate hears the subsequent cycle bills. But that is all that we have for you tonight, so thank you for coming.
Thank you. So I'll hear back on the 24th.
Yes, by then, all of these subsequent and food insecurity cycle appropriations will be passed into law, and I will send out an email with just confirming that when it happens.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Of course.
Good night.
Good night. Good evening again.
Hello, see you again.
All right. So this time we're working with a budget of $60,000, which, as per all of our budgets tonight, means you should be able to get funded at 100% unless there are illegal requests. But with that, I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and what you're requesting funds for.
Okay, so hi again. My name is Sama Hanafi. I'm the treasurer of Arab Student Organization.
Hi, my name is Malik Dididi. I'm the president of Arab Student Organization. And like we said previously, ASO is a space for Arabs and non-Arabs on campus to come together and find community. So the first event that we will be hosting is our 3rd annual soccer tournament. So we bring in people from NC State, Duke, UNC to Hooker Fields in order to engage in a day of fun and exciting soccer. So we break people up into teams and we have an entire bracket where we guarantee that all teams who sign up get to play at least 3 games, including a knockout round. In this, there's many people who attend who aren't even playing soccer, but they come to watch the spectacle. We're going to have food. We're going to have a DJ. It's something that our community looks forward to each and every year. And we normally bring out a crowd of 300 to 400 people onto Hooker Fields. So for that, we will be asking funding to help pay for water to ensure that people are hydrated, to help pay for referees, to ensure that we aren't putting any of our board members in the middle of any conflicts, and make sure that's handled professionally. And it will also be used to take care of soccer balls, materials, anything of that nature that we'll need to successfully host this soccer tournament. And then should I go ahead and talk about our second event? For sure. So our second event is going to be an ASO fashion gala where essentially we will be working with the Ackland in order to rent out their space to do a fashion show that's specifically going to be catered for fashion within Middle East and North Africa. So we're also partnering with a lot of students on campus who focus on design and are in textile classes here to help design and create pieces that are inspired from the Arab world. So we will be allowing anyone from our membership to come attend, and a lot of the costs that we need are to cover materials for the designers, additionally renting chairs, renting tables, and the rental fee for the Ackland Museum in order to have it in that space. It's really important to have it in that space because the theme is surrounding modern art, and we're going to be having a lot of modern art in there and trying to find the crossover between Arab fashion and modern art.
All right. Well, okay. So on the application, it did say you're unwilling to identify the student government as a sponsor, but you said earlier that you'd be good to do that. All right, then in that case, everything checks out. So I'm going to move that we fund building venue rental at $900.
Second.
And labor fees at $600.
Sounds great.
All right. And with that, the Arab Student Organization has received $1,500 from the Undergraduate Senate in the subsequent cycle. Both of your appropriations will be finalized on the 24th when the full Senate convenes next, and we can hear those budget bills. But with that, that's all we have for you tonight. So thank you very much for coming.
Sounds
Thank you
great.
so much.
Thank you so
Have
much.
a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Good evening, Ryan. All right. Your most recent test result from 907 was an 80 exactly, so you are good to go.
Oh, I finally broke the curse, huh?
Yeah. All right. Then, okay, so let me. All right. We're working with a budget of 60,000. And by the numbers for tonight, that should mean, unless there's anything illegally requested, you should be able to get your full amount. But I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce your organization and describe what you need funds for.
Okay. We are UNC, or I guess the correct name is esports, at UNC Chapel Hill. We're requesting funds for our semesterly event that we host. We call it Game Fest. It's a time where we ask all of the different games that are under our umbrella to host an event, generally in person, but sometimes online, depending on what the needs for the event are, over the course of one weekend. And it's a chance for people to meet new people and, most importantly, put some faces to the names that they see on the screen all the time. Since we are a gaming community, there's a lot of time where we're not actually interacting with each other, so it's nice to get out and have that real face-to-face interaction. The reason why we request the funds is so that we can get some incentives for people to come out. Generally, that is things like stickers, posters, and other game merch that is within the physical realm and according to the rules.
All right. And then in that case, the request checks out. All of your information does as well. So I'm going to move that we fund the category of programming at $1,500.
Second.
All right. So with that, UNC Chapel Hill Esports has received $1,500. Your request will be finalized on the 24th when the full Senate passes your budget bill along with all others. But yeah, that's all we have for you tonight. So thank you for coming.
Great. Thank you for answering all my emails. Sorry for the harassment today, but
all good.
Thanks a bunch. Thanks a bunch. Have a good night.
You too.
Do you think the Coptic student organization knows they need to come back? I would assume so, but
I know I told them, so I'll give them same amount always. Here she is. Hello again. All right, before we begin, this time we're working with a budget of $60,000. And with rates for tonight, unless anything here is illegally requested, you should be able to get your full amount. So I'll give you the next 3 to 5 minutes to introduce yourself and what you are requesting funds for.
Hi, my name is Marian Bana. I am representing the Coptic Student Organization, which is basically a free space for any student to celebrate and learn about the Coptic faith, culture, and history. And it supports learning in 3 areas by hosting informative lectures and banquets and discussion forums for both Coptic students and the general student population. So for our funding request, we have requested a total of $900. We are going to do a formal at the Horace Williams House. Prospective date is November 21st. And for the venue, we are requesting $700. And also we are planning another fun event before the end of the semester, which is ziplining, which will cost us $200 at the Outdoor Education Center. And it'll be $10 per person, and we expect a 20-person turnout. And that should be the bulk of our request for funding.
All right, well, that all seems to check out. So I'm going to move that we fund the category of building venue rental at $700.
second,
And the category of supplies at $200.
second.
All right, so with that, the Coptic Student Organization has received the full $900 requested. Your budget will be finalized at on the 24th when the full Senate meets next, and we will pass your organization's budget bill. So that's all that we have for you tonight, though. So thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Good evening. You're with the studio art majors at UNC?
Yes, that's correct.
Have you passed the treasurer's test?
Yes.
You have?
Okay, my co-officer is calling me right now. I thought she was in his room. Hold on a second. Hey, what's up? Yeah, we just got moved to a breakout room. Did you miss the breakout room? Okay, can you move Cora McAnulty into this room too?
Yes.
Yeah, she's one of the other co-officers. Timothy wasn't able to make it. There we go.
Okay. I'm looking on the response sheet for the treasurer's test, and I don't seem to see either of your names.
That's weird because I definitely took it.
The Google form?
The Google form. Oh, I took I thought there was one on Heal Life. Am I mistaken about that?
It's the form is on Heal Life, but the Heal Life form has the information and then links to the Google form for the actual test.
Oh, okay. I do remember doing that last semester.
There is a new one every year to reflect
changes to the yeah, I understand.
So we do have this as a requirement.
Okay.
Let's see. I do know that tonight in both subcommittees, we will be coming in comfortably under budget. So it may be possible that I can fit you and other organizations in on Tuesday.
Okay. And we
as
just need to do it
long
before then?
as you pass the treasurer's test, being the Google form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry I missed that this semester. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that Heal Life form will link to the Google form.
Okay.
Fill that one out.
Well, I'm just, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. And we can get back together on Tuesday, or if possible.
I will send an email with any reassignments.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
You have a good one.
You too. At this point, we're done, so we're just waiting on subcommittee 2 to finish up with their stuff.
Sweet.
All right.
We are so under budget, Andrew.
Oh yeah. Um, I I think since wait, let me see just okay, yeah, you're $6,000 under budget. I'm about 2,500.
Can we push everyone up to 100 and then push everyone in food insecurity up to 100 as well?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff.
Or, well, okay, so
Oh well, we have
or
to
well, wait, we're gonna have to do this one by
one by one. Yeah.
just in case there were any illegal appropriations. Okay. So I'll start with the Board of Elections.
Do you want me to go through
Yeah, you can go
mine?
through your subcommittee.
All right, sounds good.
I'm going to move that we raise for the Board of Elections the category of programming from 1,300 to 1,440.
Second.
For Grow Your World at Carolina, the category of programming from 450 to 500.
Second.
And the category
Oh,
travel from 820 to 920.
Second.
All right.
For sleight of hand, I motion we change the capital expenditures appropriation from $1,389 to $1,461.89.
Second.
For the Society of Women Engineers, I'm going to move that we, where was it? Raise the category of dues and fees from 35 to 135.
Second.
For the Carolina Forum for Education and Diplomacy, I move that we change the speaker fees from $1,400 to $1,500.
Second.
For Kamikaze Dance Team, I'm going to move that we raise supplies from 200 to 250.
Second.
Can I go back through and look at food insecurity now, Andrew?
One sec.
Okay.
And travel from 250 to 300.
Second.
All right. All right, with that, everything there. All right, now food insecurity. Yeah, we have 1045 left over. The lowest seems to be the.
Can we not pull money over from subsequent? Is that how it works?
They're working with different pools of money, so.
Okay.
Food insecurity has exactly 20,000.
Right. Yeah, I forgot that that's defined.
Yeah. Okay.
There's no way for us to.
No, that's got to stay separate.
Okay.
I
think the lowest is some USGC.
Yeah.
For mine.
That up to around 65. How much would that be?
65% of that. They requested what? 2,000. That would bump it up about 500. No, 1,000. Yeah. No, 500.
Point of information. What are y'all talking about?
The Sun USGC's request. We're on the food insecurity part.
It would move it up.
Okay, thank you.
Move it up
I was
to $1,300, Andrew.
We can probably raise that from 1,200 to 1,450.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let me change that.
Point of information or question, I guess. Why can't we just give them all 100, especially since we just went so under budget on this last one?
So that
is there like a
that was
arbitrary number for 60% or
no? Okay,
like,
so
can you explain your thought process behind
yeah,
that, please?
Tonight we're working with two different cycles, so we're pulling from two different pools of money. We just bumped all of these subsequent things or applications for tonight up to 100%. because we're under budget there, but now we're back on food insecurity, which is playing with that pool of just 20,000. So we do have to keep it relatively limited.
Can I ask why we're only appropriating $20,000 for the food insecurity?
That part is code mandated. Like it's in the code that 20,000 is set aside for food insecurity.
Is it specifically just from the student fees, or like can we just distribute that from just the in general fund that the Senate has in its treasury?
That is so we're given our budgets by the treasurer, and changing any of that would be more than something we could do tonight. So
That's a full Senate meeting deal,
yeah.
correct? So that is something you can bring up at the full meeting where we approve it, Trace.
All right, then let's see, the Arab Student Organization.
We're trying to bump up to a $20,000, right? Total?
Yeah, as close
or as close to the total budget. Yeah.
Yeah. Got 795 left. No sense in wasting a cent of that, so
Yeah. Bump up Arab Student Organization and Culinary Medicine.
yeah.
Yeah. You said we have 795 left?
Yes.
We could bump up Arab Student Organization by bump them up by
300.
300, yeah. Bump up Culinary Medicine by 150, and then we could bump up Coptic by 100.
All right. And now
I'm trying to like even them all out around 70%.
Yeah. Now, are you filling out any of this on the website or?
No, I can do that right now though. So Arab's at 1475. I did the
Sun USGC?
Sun USGC already, and I'll do Arab right now.
Let's see. I'm gonna move that we raise culinary medicine from 580 to
$7,300. Damn, Andrew.
Do that.
7 to 730.
Seconds.
All right.
I'll fill that in.
Cool. And 345.
We could push up Coptic to 500.
Yeah.
I'll change that.
I don't know if I needed to second that, but I approve. Or second.
245. All right.
We could throw the rest into Carolina Cupboard.
Yeah, that looks like it needs a little bit more.
Yeah, especially since they have the largest request.
Yeah, that'll hopefully get them to about 70%.
Yep. All right.
Oh, look at that. That's gorgeous.
With that, we are perfectly on budget for food insecurity. All right. So
in the general Senate, we can just ask for the rest to be appropriated, or how would that work?
The full Senate, this would be something for future cycles. But we could amend the code to change that food insecurity amount if that were deemed necessary.
I think possibility, especially in the next 2 years, whenever we have the surplus, like Grodzki has talked about in the general meetings, I think we can increase it a few thousand. So it's just something to consider.
Yeah, we can look into that going forward.
Especially right now, whenever it's like our money being used while we're in school.
Yeah. And okay, let's see. As for subsequent amounts, let's see, we have a surplus of
almost exactly $2,100.
$7,700 in total. We're under budget for tonight. So I think because of that, I'm going to give a second chance for some of the organizations that didn't show up or didn't pass the treasurer's test, just since we have the funds to do that.
Yeah, I saw that you moved Albums and Record Society.
Yeah, I'll
Which is
be
good because they tried.
Yeah.
They showed up. I was like, y'all didn't pass, and they took it, showed up again. And I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
pass again.
since we have the money, I'll add that into the schedule. But that should be all good. But that we've done everything for tonight. So I'm going to make a final motion for the food insecurity cycle. I'm going to move that we recommend the appropriations made in this main spreadsheet to bill to the full Senate favorably. So I'll be writing that bill if there's a second.
Second.
Okay. And then I'll do the same for subsequent once we're done with all of that on Tuesday. But
Point of order.
Yeah.
I will not be available that Tuesday. So I think that we should probably reconsider a different time.
I have already released this information to the treasurers. There are 5 days until that, so we could reschedule if absolutely need be.
It might be necessary because this is no Trace mentioned it because I told you
Yeah.
I can't make that either.
Yeah, you told me.
Which
Okay.
means that's a bit problematic with the amount of senators that we normally have.
Date would work better.
Maybe the Thursday after
That's fall break.
The after fall break. Like
After
the
fall
following
break?
week. Yeah.
On the 26th, that would put us after
The full Senate meeting.
the full
You're right.
Senate meeting. Let's see, the 18th. Oh God. Okay.
This is problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, if we do it after the full Senate meeting, we'll maybe have enough senators because it'll have maybe. I don't know.
Well, the problem is that we want to be able to pass it next full Senate meeting.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah. And now
would Monday be a possibility, or would that be too, like, can you not move it earlier because of the
I know that I have work on Monday evenings.
Yeah, and I have
and can't make
also
it.
have a prior obligation Monday nights.
Just out of curiosity, for Chair Baruch,
What's
do
up?
the finance meetings also count towards people's attendance totals?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
is it likely that someone might have lost their voting privileges since this meeting that we've just had?
Yes, somebody has in fact just lost their voting privileges.
Okay, but that still wouldn't give
that
us enough
drops
for
quorum
quorum.
by 1.
And
Okay.
the thing with that is, like, our quorum as it currently stands is 5. But just based on like North Carolina public meetings law, we need to have at least 3 people per subcommittee. So that kind of limits us to needing 6 people to effectively hold a finance committee meeting. So any way we could get to 6 would be ideal. Let's see. I think if we absolutely need to, I think we could reschedule it to the 26th. Just pass the first half of the subsequent hearings that we heard.
We could also always hold like literally a 20-minute emergency meeting on Zoom the next Tuesday to pass subsequent.
On wait, when?
Like we literally if we do the 26th, we could always hold a like emergency full Senate meeting.
True.
Over Zoom on the 31st.
Ooh, that's Halloween. But we can figure
Oh
that out.
shit, that is Halloween.
Yeah.
What are people going to be doing on Halloween night? Senate. That's what I'll be doing.
Obviously.
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, we can figure that out later, but
maybe we should email out to everyone and see what their availability is this Tuesday. Because then if you have 6 people, even if you have 5 people who say that they can come, I don't know about you, but our meetings all lasted about 4 or 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
You could get through it anyways.
Okay, yeah, I'll send out an email to all the finance senators seeing who's available on the 17th. If I don't get 6 people, I'll move it to the 26th.
Good stuff.
It's doable. So, all right. But with that, we've finished budget reconciliation. All of that is done. So I'm going to move that at 10:08 p.m. we stand adjourned.
Second. Andrew, can I talk with you after this meeting real fast?
Yeah.
Okay, cool stuff. Good stuff, friends.
Adios.
All right. I have ended my maybe. Okay.
Oh, wait 1 sec.
Yeah.